Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday edition of our morning meditation, and we're continuing in the book of Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, now in chapter 15, and I'm going to begin reading from verse 32. Then Jesus called his disciples unto him, and said, I have compassion on the multitude, because they continue with me now 3 days, and have nothing to eat, and I will not send them away fasting, lest they faint in the way. And his disciples say unto him, Whence should we have so much bread in the wilderness as to fill so great a multitude? And Jesus saith unto them, How many loaves have ye? And they said, 7, and a few little fishes. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves and the fishes, and gave thanks, and brake them, and gave to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat, and were filled. And they took up of the broken meat that was left 7 baskets full. And they did eat were 4,000 men, beside women and children. And he sent away the multitude, and took ship, and came into the coasts of Magdala. This is the feeding of the 4,000. Earlier on in the Gospel of Matthew, we see Jesus do a very similar miracle where he feeds 5,000 with 5 loaves and a few fish. Here he's feeding a multitude of 4,000, and that's 4,000 men. So if there were women and children there, the crowd was larger than just the 4,000 men, with, again, 7 loaves and a few fishes here. And this is an amazing miracle, God providing much from little. And I think all of us have testimonies in our own life where God has provided in our life much from little. The whole story of the church is God providing much from little. From 12 disciples, he sent a gospel into all the world that transformed societies and culture, but even more than that, brought the message of reconciliation so that multitudes could come into a relationship with Jesus Christ, from a very small amount into great multitudes. This is something God does routinely. But what I wanted to look at actually was this first verse that we read in verse 32. Then Jesus called his disciples unto him and said, I have compassion on the multitude. God has compassion on us. That's why he came, and his compassion didn't just relate to our spiritual well-being, although that was his primary motivation, that he's also caring about our physical needs as well, and that's why this miracle is a physical one. So he has compassion, so we can go to him with all of our needs, the spiritual ones and the temporal or physical ones. But this is something so fascinating. He says, now they've continued with me 3 days and have nothing to eat, and I will not send them away fasting, lest they faint in the way. He says they've been here a long time, they haven't eaten. If they brought some food, they've run out of it. Now they've been fasting, and I don't want to send them away because we're out here in a desert place, in a wilderness, and by the time they get back home, they may faint from lack of nutrition. He says, I won't do that. I won't send them away fasting. And that's what I want us to look at and think about and meditate on, and that's what I was doing. It seems to me that when we go and seek out Jesus, when we go into the wilderness place, when we leave our comfort zone, when we go into our quiet place seeking God in prayer, when we find that place of isolation and all we're looking for in that place is him. We want to be in his presence. We want to hear his word. We want to focus upon him. We are there with Jesus in the wilderness. And we can continue in that place for as much time as we desire. And Jesus doesn't want to just send us away. But there comes a time in this particular meeting when they needed to go home. They've been there 3 days. And he says, I'm not going to send them away fasting lest they faint. And I believe that any time that we are in the presence of God, that we will not leave empty. I believe that Jesus Christ always wants to send us away full. that if we meet him in prayer, if we meet him meditating upon his word, if we are seeking him, not our own desires in prayer, not our own way in prayer, that we're not just giving him a list of worries or concerns, but we're looking for him, desiring his way, desiring his strength, desiring to be filled with his Holy Spirit. I believe that every time we seek him in that way, we will leave that place of meditation, that place of prayer, that place of focus upon Jesus, full, ready to have everything we need for the next part of our journey. He won't send you away fasting. If you feel that you are spiritually famished, if you have not been getting the bread that you need spiritually, and you are reading and you are praying, I ask you to just try this. When you go to pray, put down the list of the normal things that you pray for and just seek him. Just worship him. Just desire to hear from him. Just glorify him. Just desire what he wants to do. And I'm sure that when you're in that place and you are seeking him, that he is going to fill you and refill you and give you everything that you need. He won't send you away fasting, lest you faint in the way, but he will send you away full, ready to face all those things that the journey requires. Have a great day, guys. Bye.